When you read the book of Ephesians, it says that you are seated with Christ in heavenly places. The word there is plural, it says places, it doesn't say a place. And that reveals man's multidimensional existence, that man exists in multiple universes and in multiple places at the same time. Now, within that particular reality, you must understand that that reality is not only bound to believers as well. No, the nature of consciousness is such that consciousness can expand itself from itself multiple times. It can expand itself from itself um, multiple times and appear in multiple realms at the same time. And you have had a bit of an experience with that the moment you fall asleep, because when you sleep, you see yourself falling asleep, you see that you're asleep, and you see another version of yourself in the dream world. And that version of yourself that you see in the dream world is being seen by another version of yourself that is not in the dream world. And the version of yourself that is asleep is also being seen by another version of yourself in yourself that is yourself. So there are multiple versions of yourself in yourself that are yourself, different expansions of yourself from yourself that are yourself. And it is from this particular platform that I base my experience in the past, my experience from the past 1 week. So a couple of years back, I had a girlfriend, and we got physical with this particular girlfriend of mine. We got intimate, and after that, I have seen so many things about her life, and I've seen so many things about her days to come, her life in the sense of the future and what is to come, even in relation to her children as well. And I have seen accurately and precisely to the point of being able to see and know where the realm from which a child has come, because souls originate from different realms, and even the in between realm of existence that the child has come from. Now we're talking about the realms of Chronos. And I remember asking God and telling God, God, why am I still seeing things about this girl? And God directed me and told me, the thing is, you guys ended the relationship, but the connection that existed between the two of you has not been dealt with. And I'm like, what do you mean? See, we broke this altar and all those kind of things. And the Spirit of God began teaching me about genetic mutation, and began teaching me about how sex is for genetic mutation. And you can break a soul tie, but breaking the soul tie does not deal with the genetic mutation. It does not deal with the realities of consciousness that have taken place within the inner aspects of your being, as it is written in the book of Psalm 139, verse 13, where David says that you created my inmost parts. There are certain inmost parts of your being, and these inmost parts of your being have to do with certain particular aspects within your mental matrix, within your mind, and the throne of your mind, and the thrones within your mind, because you have thrones. There's the throne of the mind, and we have thrones of the mind in the mind. The mind has a hierarchy of operation. The mind is structured in such a way that it has rankings of operations, and not only rankings of operations, but it also has stations of power. And those particular stations of power, in and of themselves, these particular stations of power, excuse me, is, and these particular stations of power themselves, they operate in the ambit of the universal creative forces of God. And these universal creative forces of God, or universal frequencies of God, they're in four main and four major categories. We're speaking about the alpha awakening waves, we're talking about the activating alpha waves, we're talking about the elevating alpha waves, and we're also talking about the expanding alpha waves. And these function within a person and from a person and by a person, because in essence, each and every single one of us, we are a consummation of these four particular forces, of these four particular creative universal frequencies. And these frequencies, they function and they operate during sex and during intercourse. And you find that during intercourse, the man's energy system, the masculine energy system, functions mainly from the ambit and from the thrones of awakening, from the awakening thrones or the awakening frequency, and from the activating frequency of the awakening throne, because they're not just frequencies, but they are thrones within the mental matrix. And when we talk about the mental matrix, you're talking about the mind as a system that hosts the possibilities of your soul within this particular respective reality of yourself, that is the mind, because the mind is a concentration point for the possibilities of the soul within this particular physicality, as far as the destinies of the soul, not what I'm saying, the destinies, as far as the destinies of the soul are concerned within this particular respective physicality and reality of being, such that The moment you come into this earth, there is a certain particular destiny and destinies within that destiny that you come to manifest in this physical realm. And that is because the destiny of the soul is infinite. The soul takes on multiple upon multiple manifestations of itself in the different physicalities of God. And the physicalities of God, the realms of God, are infinite. And we're not just talking about the in between realms, it goes beyond the in between realms. That's why scripture talks about the heavens. And when it's talking about the heavens, it's talking about higher realms of existence, higher realms of consciousness, higher platforms of being beyond our present platform of being, which is the earth itself. So, um, after that particular revelation that God talked to me about how the intricate connections and the intricate um, entanglement that comes from sex, I find that her system and my system are entangled. Her web of life and destiny and my web of life and destiny were entangled. And that is why I could still see certain realities of her being. Her genetic structure had become part and parcel of my genetic structure, and her genetic structure also took on certain particular elements of my being, certain particular probable systems and probable destinies within the constitution of my probable destiny, and also within the constitution of my absolute destiny, and the probable destinies within my absolute destiny as well. So that's why I could see those particular realities. That's why I could see those particular things and those particular manifestations of being that were taking place in her life. And God told me that I had to deal with the genetic aspect. And the genetic aspect has to do with genetic mutation, which meant that I had to approach the family realm, because now, as a result of intercourse, I and I had become family. We had become one. And the families, her family and my family, had become one. You see, it is sex that makes two families into one. It's not marriage. Sex is what makes two families into one. So after seeing that and after getting that revelation, I began praying, approaching the universal judicial system, approaching the family court, and getting to deal with that particular reality. And still after that, last week, I'm lying on my bed, I'm asleep, and I see myself in the marine kingdom. Literally speaking, I see myself in the marine kingdom, and I see her in the marine kingdom, and I see her firstborn daughter in the marine kingdom. And these civilians, because there is a whole community there is a whole civilization there, way more advanced than ours. And I see these civilians looking at me, and they're like, the expression on their faces, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And they look at me, and I could read their faces, and what they're saying is, you need to get out of here. You do not belong. And they couldn't get close to me. And there was this big fish, let me use that term, big fish, that was trying to bring me out from this marine kingdom, but it could also not get to me. And the civilians could also not get to me. They were standing afar, they were frightened by my presence, and they were wondering, what is this man doing here? What is this man doing here? And the woman and the daughter, they were playing. And I remember I woke up and I was like, God, what is this? What have I seen? And God began explaining and teaching me things, and began telling me that, because I knew after the relationship had ended, I came to the knowledge of the fact that this lady was under the influence of marine spirits. And this is out of revelation. And I got to see so many other things which I'll not go into detail. I'll not talk about that in detail. And the interesting part is, after all this, I see this girl and I'm like, God, what did I see in this dream? What was I doing in the marine kingdom? And God begins to explain to me that the moment I had intercourse with this lady, I was agreeing and I was submitting myself to every single reality that is encapsulated in her being. Human beings are multiversal. Human beings are interdimensional. We exist in multiple places at the same time. There are people you see walking around, very beautiful people. You see them walking around, and you're like, oh, this is such a beautiful man. Oh, this is such a beautiful woman, very handsome man. And you want to get into a relationship with them simply based on the platform of beauty. But the thing is, that particular person is connected to other realms of existence, other systems of being, because man is multiversal. That man is connected to other systems of being. That woman is connected to other systems of being. And these systems of being that this particular person is connected to, they have influence in their life based on the decisions, the choices that this person has made, but also based on the platform of their conception, the intelligence of their conception as well. If they were conceived under the realm of sin, if they are conceived under the realm of sin, and in the realm of sin, that is, if they were conceived under the authority of flesh, then they are connected to the realms of flesh. Now, the marine kingdom is one of the realms of the flesh, but we also have other realms of the flesh as well. We begin to talk about the realms of illusion and move beyond the realms of illusion. We come to the realms within the realms of illusion. We begin to speak about the anachronistic realms. We talk about the perfect anachronistic realm. We talk about the good anachronistic realms. We talk about the anachronistic realms. We also talk about the acceptable uh, anachronistic realms, or the acceptable realms of the flesh, because the flesh is a nature, the flesh is a system of consciousness, and that system of consciousness has destinies. It has a destiny with destinies, and those destinies, they must be administered, they must be made manifest. So the moment man sinned and man took of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he was taking off a certain particular system of destiny, not only a system of destiny, he was also partaking of a system of consciousness and of a nature, because every consciousness has a nature. And the nature that is encapsulated in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it is what the Bible calls the sinful nature. That is what the flesh is. It is the nature of sin. It is the nature of sin, and it is a system of identity, and it is a system of consciousness, and it is a system that has to do with the negative realms of existence. So there are people that are connected to the negative realms of existence by virtue of the way they were conceived, and there are people that are connected to the negative realms of existence by virtue of sexual intercourse, and also by virtue of covenants, ancestral covenants, the individual covenants they have made. So this lady, because she had given herself over, she had opened herself up to the marine kingdom, and she was connected to the marine kingdom. And I saw that what this lady, there is a part of her that is in the marine kingdom. Literally speaking, the marine kingdom has dominion and authority over her life. And when I slept with her, I actually entered into an agreement with that particular spirit, and entering into an agreement with that spirit of the marine kingdom, I entered into agreement with the marine kingdom, and the marine kingdom now had influence over my life and had influence in my life. And that's why I saw myself in that particular kingdom. And I began asking God, how are these things? How do these things work? And this is what God told me, that the moment you have sex with a woman or with a man, what happens is this, that you come into agreement with every reality of existence, with every reality of existence that that person is connected to. You come into agreement with the realms, with the negative realms or the positive realms that that particular woman or that particular man is connected to. And I began now to understand that even when I saw the child in that realm, the child is in that realm by virtue of what her mother did and the lifestyle that her mother chose to live. This is the interesting part. You see, the children we birth, we connect them to the realms that we are connected to. Yes, there are realms that they are connected to as far as their origin is concerned, but there are realms they get connected to by virtue of who and what we have become. So you see, this young lady is also now connected to the marine kingdom. And whatever it is that is happening in this child's life, her destiny is under the influence and manipulation of the marine kingdom. She is literally a citizen of the marine kingdom. That child, she has been inducted, she has been born into the marine kingdom. She has been born into the marine kingdom by virtue of the lifestyle that her mother chose to live, because her mother now entered into agreement with the marine kingdom, and the marine kingdom has dominion and authority over her, and has dominion and authority in her. And at the same time, that means that the mental structures of the woman and the mental structures of the child, they are also subject to the influence of the marine kingdom. So we begin to talk about the cosmic powers of the mind. We talk about imagination, we talk about thought, we talk about also the faculty of the intellect. When we begin to talk about the faculty of the intellect, we begin to talk about the heart. They are subject to the marine kingdom, and the marine kingdom has instilled its systems of destiny into the woman and also into the child, which means that whenever the marine kingdom wants to do something within a certain particular vicinity or within a certain particular territory, as far as the lady is concerned and the child is concerned as well, if it's in the territory that they live in, that lady and the energies that that lady is radiating will be a contact point that the marine kingdom will use to access a certain particular community. That is how these things work. Why? Because you find that the kingdoms that you are connected to, the kingdoms and realms that you are connected to. In physical terms of embodiment, they look at you, and as they look at you, how they interpret you as an energy concentration point. You are an energy concentration point. So this lady and the daughter, they are energy concentration points for the marine kingdom, meaning that the marine kingdom can use them in a certain physicality, in a certain location, because they are denizens or citizens of their kingdom. So the radiations that they are radiating, they are radiations that are laced and integrated with the energy radiations of the marine kingdom. And these energy radiations of the marine kingdom now, as because now these two people, they are concentration points, physical concentration points and physical radiation points of the marine kingdom. Their energies, especially the moment they fall asleep, their energies are used as gateways and as points of contact to for spirits from the marine kingdom to access that particular location that they live in. That's how things work. Because we're talking about also the web of life and destiny, the electromagnetic wave field around people, and not only the electromagnetic wave field around people, but also the tentacles or the right word to use would be the stems of these energies that is connected to the cosmic man, and not only to the cosmic man, but it also connected to the realms of origin and the realms that the person is connected to, as far as their physicality in this earth is concerned, and as far as their multidimensional nature is concerned as well. So you find that the energies that they are radiating become bridges for the marine kingdom to use. And because now the womb of the woman is also connected to the marine kingdom, the womb of the child is connected to the marine kingdom, you find that now these spirits will use the womb as a portal and a gateway to enter into the physical realm. Why? Because in essence, the womb of a woman is a gateway to access the physical realm. And you don't necessarily need to give birth to a spirit in physical terms. No, you just need to be connected to that realm. And when you're connected to that realm, through the womb, these spirits will have access through you and from you and by you to enter into the physical realm. Why? Because the womb is a portal to the physical realm. The womb is a gateway to the physical realm. So the moment a woman is, and I'm referring to women because women are the gateways for souls, for things which are immaterial, spirits and souls. It is the womb and the woman that are gateways, portals to the physical realm. So this lady and the daughter, their wombs are being used by the marine kingdom to access the physical realm. So spirits are literally traveling through the electromagnetic wave fields and traveling from their wombs to enter into the physical realm. And that's the reality. And I discovered now, after investigating and asking God questions, and I realized that my loins, my manhood was now connected to the marine kingdom by virtue of having entered into a woman who is a portal and a gateway to the marine kingdom. So I had to pray and deal with those things. I had to approach the universal judicial systems and deal with those things. Why? Because ignorance is not an excuse. Cosmic principles remain to be absolute. You cannot change cosmic principles. You cannot change the fact that scripture says, and the two shall become one. That whatever it is that the person is connected to becomes also connected to you and becomes part and parcel of you. Because you transfer energies, you transfer consciousness, you transfer universal connections, and not only universal connections, you also transfer multiversal connections, multiversal existences. They become transferred. So you find that you appear in a kingdom that you were not even existing in the first place. If the lady is in the marine kingdom, you find that now you also appear in the marine kingdom by virtue of entering into this woman and becoming one with this woman, agreeing with this woman, and not only with the woman, but also agreeing with the spirits that are behind the life of this woman and the spirits that are influencing the life of this woman, and they begin to influence your life. They begin to influence your life. And that's how generations are captured. That's how you find that at the end of the day, when the man enters into a woman connected to the marine kingdom, or when a woman now is entered by a man connected into the marine kingdom, what is going to happen is that not only is her womb going to be used as a gateway for spirits to come into the physical realm, no, but also the man and the sperm of the man. It is also going to be used the moment the man is ejaculating. It's also going to be used, that particular ejaculation is going to be used by spirits to enter into the womb of women, and not only to enter into the womb of women, but to also enter into the physical realm. Why? Because the sperm is the seed of life. The sperm is the seed of life, and the woman is the seed for life. So you find that both the man and the woman, they are gateways of access for spirits to enter into the physical realm. So I learned these things, and I began to realize and to understand that, so this is how the marine kingdom operates. This is how the marine kingdom operates. As much as they could not come close to me, they had an influence, and that's why I was there. They had an influence, and that influence was an influence that is indirect. You see, there is a direct influence and there is indirect influence. Now, the direct influence has a lot to do with a spirit having dominion over your mind. And when a spirit has dominion over your mind, we're talking about possession. Now, in the case of the lady and the daughter, that is a reality of possession. But now, when you come to the reality of influence, is where now the influence is indirectly. It is through thought projection. It is through being monitored. It is through determining the kind of people that you attract. So you find that the marine kingdom had influence on the kind of ladies that I was attracting. Why? Because of the influence that they had in me, which is an influence that is indirect. But because of the connection between myself and the marine kingdom at the time, as a result of sexual intercourse with the person who's under the dominion of the marine kingdom, you find that the energies that I was radiating, because attraction is purely based on your energy radiations, is purely based on the kind of person that you have become. It is also based on the type of will of God you exist in, and the kind of will of God you exist in within the type of the will of God that you exist in. And it is also based on the platform that you are conceived in, that is your intelligence of conception. And beyond the intelligence of conception, it is also based on the as of the transference of energies as far as sex is concerned, the transference of consciousness as far as sex is concerned, because sex is primarily for the transference of consciousness. And in essence and in truth, you become a host of the spirit of the person that you sleep with, and you become a host of the spirits behind the person that you sleep with. You become a host for that. Man is a host of spirits. You are a host for your parents' spirits. You host the spirits of your parent in you. They are in you. Your parents are in you. You are a throne. In certain terms, you're a throne for the spirits of your parent, and not only for the spirits of your parents, but you're also a throne for the spirits of your parents, and etc., up until to the fourth generation, and even beyond the fourth generation. So that's one of the reality that happens, and that particular influence was indirect, because for me it was not a matter of possession. It is a matter of influence by virtue of now oneness, by virtue of entering a woman that is under their dominion and under their influence. So I continued to pray, and as I was praying and seeking and breaking all these things, it came to my attention some of the things that God also revealed had a lot to do with marriage. As far as marriage is concerned, that it is very prudent for someone to be very discerning, to seek to know and to understand which realms of existence the person that you want to marry is connected to, or is actually even the realms that the person is coming from, the intelligence of the person's conception. It's also important for you to seek that and to gather understanding and to know, okay, so this person, how was this person born? What was the intelligence of conception that this person came from, that this person entered into the physical realm? Did they enter the physical realm through lust? Did they enter it through love? Did they enter it through hatred, bitterness? All these things, you find out these things through revelation. And when you find them out through revelation, you begin to deal with them. Why? Because you see, the intelligence that a person was conceived in becomes the primary concentration point of the constitution of their energy, and it is also the platform from which, in which, and through which they manifest the possibilities of their destiny. So you find that the intelligence of somebody's conception affects the people that person attracts, but it also affects the administration of the will of God. That as much as God has spoken and God has said, "This is my will," you find that there will be struggles along that line and along that path, not because of anything, but because of the fact that this particular person was conceived under the intelligence of lust. And that means that lust, the spirit of lust, has influence in the life of that particular person, and the spirit of lust has dominion in certain particular dimensional terms in the destiny of that particular person as far as marriage is concerned. Why? Because your intelligence of conception is a determining factor as far as your marriage destiny is concerned. Why? Because families are formed through intercourse. So if you are conceived through all of us were conceived through intercourse, yes, but if you are conceived from a place of lust, that means that your marriage destiny is subject to the spirit of lust. Even when God directs you to a person, He says, "This is my will," you will have to deal with lust. Lust will be an issue in that particular marriage. Lust will be an issue in the husband and in the wife. There, it can be that the wife does not have the spirit of lust, but the husband has it in his subtle elements, in his inward parts. The husband has it because of the fact that they were conceived under the intelligence of lust. So they have it, and the moment they are having intercourse with the wife, they transfer that particular spirit, that particular reality, that particular influence. Not necessarily a matter of even possession, but there is an influence. So they transfer that influence. They bring the wife under the influence of that spirit, and you find that the wife can end up being unfaithful. And it's not because that was within the structure of their destiny. No, it is because the husband had that within the structure of his destiny, and he projected the same reality to the wife. And the wife did not have the spiritual stamina or the spiritual strength to deal with that particular issue. You see, they did not have the strength to deal with that particular issue, to deal with that particular influence. That particular influence was too strong for them. So sometimes you find people saying, "Oh, my wife is unfaithful," and they blame the wife. Yet, within the spiritual purview of things and within the spiritual perspective of reality, it is you, the man or the woman, that has caused that to happen. Why? Because of the intelligence of your conception. And you move beyond you come to your parents, you find that there is a reality that was written into your probable system and into your absolute probable system of destiny by your parents the moment they had intercourse on the platform of lust. A person was conceived through lust, and not only through lust, even if it's a matter of sex outside the context of marriage, the destiny is under the influence of the flesh. And we all know the works of the flesh. We're talking about fornication, we are talking about adultery, we're talking about witchcraft, we're talking about other vast destiny, including the destinies of false teachers, including the destinies of false prophets, including the destinies that are connected to spirits of seduction, as far as even the marine kingdom is concerned. Because this is the thing, the flesh and the realms of the flesh, just one single act of sex outside marriage can give the marine kingdom and other realms of the flesh influence over your life and influence in your life. So they influence it either directly or indirectly. And you find that you end up having particular struggles, and you're wondering where did those struggles come from. But those struggles are connected to the realms that you are connected in, and the realms that your parents connected you to through your conception. And beyond your conception, you find that there are realms you connect yourself to through the people that you sleep with, and you become subject to the influence of those realms. And those kingdoms will influence your destiny, your marriage destiny. They will influence they influence the destiny of your job. They will influence the destiny of your children. They will influence the destiny, your financial destiny. All these things, as far as your social, economical, cultural, traditional, educational systems are concerned, they will have influence through all those systems, either absolutely or dimensionally. So these are the things I learned after inquiring and beginning to understand. So this is how sex works. This is how the marine kingdom works. And again, I repeat, there are people you see here, huko nje. You see them, they're beautiful, they look so nice. But within the reality of existence beyond the physical realm, is an aspect of them, a dimension of them, an expansion of themselves from themselves, that is in the marine kingdom, and they are citizens of the marine kingdom. You see them walking, you see them even sleeping in the house, wherever it is, you see them. But there is an aspect of them, a dimension of them, a version of them that is in the marine kingdom. And it is from that particular version, that expansion of the person, that the marine kingdom coordinates all of its attacks in the life of that particular person, but also through that particular person. And that particular person becomes a point of attack and a point of administration for the marine kingdom, and or whatever kingdom it is. And that kingdom begins to administer its reality through that particular, through that particular expansion of the person in the marine kingdom. So we find that this lady and the child, there is a version of them, an expansion of themselves from themselves that is in the marine kingdom. And those versions are the coordination point of the activities of the marine kingdom in the life, in their lives, and not only in their lives, but also in the lives of people around them. That they're influencing people around them through the versions of themselves that are existing in the marine kingdom. So you find that that is how things work. That you can find that there is a person you see here, just around, walking around, but that person is a concentrated point of the energies of the marine kingdom. That person is a strategy within the marine kingdom. And even beyond the marine kingdom, you find that that person is also a strategy within the kingdom of darkness as far as the different realms of existence are concerned. We're even talking about the realms of illusion. And this is the interesting part. Anybody that drinks, anybody that uses bang and uses drugs, they are a central concentration point of the realms of illusion, and the energies of the realms of illusion are concentrated in them, and they are radiated from them, and through that, through their electromagnetic wave fields and through their energy radiations, there is a subtle influence that the various kingdoms, whether it is the kingdom of illusions or whether it's the kingdom of the marine kingdom, through the electromagnetic wave fields and the radiations that persons radiate, if it's a person from the marine kingdom and they're radiating the energies of the marine kingdom, through their energy radiations, they can just be saying hi to someone or passing by a certain particular place, and there's someone there who has lust in them or seduction in them, but that seduction is in a state of potential, is actually in a potential state. But through the electromagnetic wave fields that they are radiating, you find that that particular person will have lust activated in them through the electromagnetic wave field. Why? Because that person is a physical concentration point of the energies of the marine kingdom. That person is a physical concentration point of the realms of illusion. And that is how it works. So you find that this person goes to work, this person goes to um, to the family gatherings or wherever it is that they're going, even to church, they're probably even in the worship team. But the moment they begin to sing or they begin to minister, even beyond singing and ministering, they are radiating energies that are activating lust in people, they're radiating energies that are activating seduction, they're radiating energies that are activating fornication and sexual immorality and adultery even. Some of some of these cases of adultery in the church, even that of pastors falling into sin after years, it is because there is a sister there who's a believer, but had sex with a man, or a man there who's a believer that had sex with a woman who is a gateway for the energies of the marine kingdom, or a gateway for the realms of illusion and etc. And they're in the worship team, they're singing, but their song, as they sing, the energy that they radiate is the energy of the marine kingdom. The energy they radiate is the energy of the realms of illusion. You find, oh, the pastor is drinking, oh, the elder is drinking, the pastor now begins to struggle with sexual immorality and etc. That is how things happen. That is how things happen. That is how even sex and unfaithfulness begins to take place even in the church. You find that there was no issues of sexual morality, but now people begin to sleep with each other in the worship team. The worship the worship leader or the worship pastor begins to see, oh, there is like a girl over there. And it's because there's someone in the worship team who is saved, yes, but is under the influence of the marine kingdom. And their loins or their womb, if it's a woman, their womb and their person is a concentration point that radiates the energies of the marine kingdom and radiates the energies of the realms of illusion. And after learning that and realizing that, I began thanking God for being single, because now I began to understand that if I would have gotten married and the marine kingdom had influence over me, that means that it would also have influence in my marriage, as much as they would not get close to me. who knows whether they would have managed to influence my wife to be. You see that? Because I also realized that because of the prayers, studying scripture and all that, and fasting and all that, that's how I realized that I was wearing down their influence. By revelation, that I was wearing down their influence. That's why they were looking at me like this person should not be here, and they could not get close to me at all. They could not get close to me. By virtue of influence and connection to this lady, I was there in the marine kingdom. They wanted to do something, but they couldn't because of the energy radiations, but still there was an influence. And that's the reality of things, that it can be that you're not possessed, but that doesn't mean an absence of influence. An absence of influence through thought radiations or through certain other particular systems of certain particular systems of administration. So it is good for you to pray. It is good for you to seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that goes beyond just, oh wow, this girl is beautiful. No, not the realms that that woman is connected to, not the realms that that man is connected to, because the realms that that man is connected to will determine what destinies come into being in you and what destiny become realized in you. Why? Because consciousness in a becoming universe is very much flexible. Destinies can be introduced into your system, and destinies that were not even there can be introduced into your system, and you receive foreign destinies and you begin to administer foreign destinies. And remember, if you have a question, feel free to ask. I pray that the teaching has been a blessing to you. God bless you. Feel free to ask anything, and you can also comment it if the teaching has also blessed you. Feel free to share it to others so that they can also be blessed. Remember to subscribe, and remember to turn on the notification to click on the notification button, turn on your notifications so that you can receive these and other particular notifications concerning our teachings as well. God bless you.